guys, it's Marissa Sweet. Welcome to my 11th art chat, talking with artists. What's new? And tonight, my special guest and my buddy is Andrew Cheddie Sookrah. So I'm gonna wait for him to join in, and then we can chat, and hopefully you guys will be inspired and check out Andrew's website and get to know the man behind the bandana. Yeah, so just waiting for him to log on and say hi to me, and then I can invite him to join. Yeah, so we did a test earlier, and yeah, so I'm very excited to have him. He has been a very good inspiration with all my career, and I am a fan. So I hope you enjoy listening to him and taking all his advice in tonight's chat. So just a little bit about him. He is a Toronto-based artist, and he is a fabulous instructor. And there he is, he's waving, and so I'm going to invite him to join us. Yeah, and he is like also a sculptor. I have to ask him about that. Hey, Andrew.
Hey,
Hey,
my
how are you?
one of the wandering childs around the neighborhood came in and showed me how to use Instagram.
You're funny.
Anyway, here I am.
Yeah, great. I really welcome you to my live chat. I'm so honored to have you, Andrew. You just don't know that I have been a fan for many, many years. And the first time I met you was at the Arts and Letters Club at the holiday party of the Society of Canadian Artists.
That's right.
You were the president at the time, outgoing. And I was like, oh my God, he's my hero.
I was one of the vice presidents. We had split up the role of vice presidents. Josie Britton was the lead, and we had split the tasks up. I was dealing with all the exhibitions at the time.
Oh, I see. Wow. Yeah. Well, I am so
I love
honored.
the SCA, by the way. I have to tell you, I love the SCA.
Yeah,
Remarkable
me
organization.
too. And why do you love the SCA? Just because? Like maybe you can give like a little promo for SCA. Why do you love the SCA?
Well, that's a very good question. It's about the quality of the artists who are members. But
Mhm.
what sets it apart from a lot of arts organizations, it's very passionate. It's very driven. It's very
Mhm.
passionate. Uh, Quite a few of the members are very active in making the organization such a vibrant body of community. And I love
Yeah.
it for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and we try to reach out, and actually I'm going to try and do an art chat with more members so that we can reach more members out there and introduce them to everyone, you know?
Absolutely.
So I think I will do that for maybe the next succeeding art chats, more members.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
I'll be
So
sure I'll
for
be sure to tune in.
Yeah, thank you. So just for everyone who's tuning in, I just want to give a little introduction to Andrew. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows you, but let's say somebody doesn't. So we'll just do a little intro. Andrew was born in Guyana, and from an early age, he already was dabbling with art and even won a very, very good art prize in school. He has had many careers, mostly as an illustrator and a designer, graphic designer. You've had your own creative agency, marketing, digital, something like that. Engine Room, right,
Engine
Andrew?
Room Engine Room Creative. I was the creative director. I wasn't actually involved in illustration then. We hired illustrators. I did the creative direction, a bit of art direction, a lot of art direction, some copywriting. But mostly I hired freelancers who were very good at their work, what they were doing. We had it was corporate business to business direct marketing, and we did some
Mm-hmm.
general advertising as well too. But for the most part, our clients were pretty high profile, all the major banks at the time when I was in business. And then we had the Canadian government, the Ontario government. We did
Oh,
work in the US, the UK, in the Caribbean.
wow.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting times.
Nice, nice. Sorry, I've just got distracted here. So many are waving. So many are waving. To continue with your intro, Andrew,
Yes.
he is also a fabulous instructor. In fact, I've attended a demo through the Oshawa Art Association. You did a demo for us.
Yep.
And I also attended a workshop with you, which was in acrylic, I believe,
It
as
was.
well with
Yep.
the Oshawa Art
Oshawa.
Association.
That's
So
right. I remember that.
he is just you're just so you're just such a well-rounded artist, not only with the fine arts, but you're also a sculptor, which I didn't know. So you have to talk to me about that. And he is a member of the Ontario Society of Artists, the Canadian Painters and Watercolor, the Portrait Society of Canada, and an honorary member of the Society of Canadian Artists. Woo! Did I get them all?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm so honored to have you. And again, I mean, I'm like super thrilled. So
Me too. Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this well, since you reached out to me.
yes,
Thank you.
yeah, for sure. Now, for everybody online, Andrew also teaches at the McMichael's Gallery and also at the Richmond Hill Art School and also at the Lodge in Amherst. Is that by registration, or are they only groups, or is it an ongoing class? You can talk about
Let me talk
the
a
workshop.
bit about the teaching. So yes, you
Yeah.
did lead with McMichael Gallery. I've been teaching with McMichael Gallery for about 4 or 5 years now. Also with the Richmond Hill Art School,
Yeah.
which is run by Natasha Tolub, who runs an amazing art school up in Richmond Hill. I teach
Mm-hmm.
there on Sunday mornings. My students there are grades 9 to 12, I think.
Oh,
And we've had some superstars go on to OCAD. They've won some pretty major awards in OCAD because when you come through Natasha's school, you have been exposed to some very fine art teaching, art classes at
wow.
Richmond Hill. And so from McMichael, Richmond Hill Art School, the Richmond Hill Group of Artists, Nielsen, the Humber Valley Group of
Oh,
Artists, Barrie Arts Club up in Barrie.
oh,
These guys, I get a lot of teaching assignments from these guys. I do workshops for them.
right,
Uh, since COVID, I had to switch immediately
right.
into online teaching. So
Yeah,
uh, that's where we are at the moment.
yes. And I believe the McMichael Gallery was the first one that went online teaching with you, like immediately after, right?
Immediately, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was the day it was announced.
Wow.
Anna said, you need to be online. Unfortunately, my assistant, Christine, had a camera, a Logitech camera that I could use.
Right.
So right here, I'm in my studio at the moment. So we tested it here in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that when I teach now, because I only need a small space to teach, when I
Right.
started teaching with with McMichael first, and then
Yeah.
Richmond Hill Art School, I just set up in my home studio, and the space is only a few feet that I need.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
sit there, and I've done 15 or 20 paintings in that time.
Oh my.
So every time I do a demonstration now, I finish it.
Yes.
And yeah,
How long are your demonstrations? Are they like 2 hours or 1 hour?
another great question. It depends on the workshop.
Mm.
Right now, I'm doing a workshop with the Richmond Hill group of artists, and they would like me to demonstrate for, I say, between half an hour to 45 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and then we do a review of that.
Mm-hmm.
Then the artist work. I will
Right.
demonstrate then because I can work very quickly. I
Yeah.
demonstrate for another 10 or 15 minutes, and the artist paint for half an hour or 45 minutes. But
Oh,
some workshops I demonstrate for an hour and 15 minutes,
right.
and the feedback I've gotten is the artists like to see me paint live because I talk through the process, and
Right.
they gain quite a bit from watching me paint. I talk
Mm-hmm.
about my color, my process, my
Yeah.
mindset, my brush strokes,
Right.
etc. So
Yeah.
they find it beneficial.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I do that too. And in fact, I actually just finished a workshop with the Richmond Hill group of artists as well.
When
So
they just said hi, so hold that thought. What subject were you teaching?
I was teaching floral bouquet.
Uh-huh. Actually,
Yeah.
I saw
Did you
something.
see it?
I saw a little bit. Yes, that was
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah. So and then I still, I'm not as fast as you do. Like I try to work as fast. But I didn't finish my demo. So what I'm doing now is if I go back to it, I go live and I tell them that I'm going live so they can watch it live as I'm
Right,
progressing with the painting.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you do hire yourself out as an instructor to artists who would like to know how to go live, let me know. You would breathe some life into this old body of mine. You can show me how to use Instagram and promote my work. You guys have been doing an amazing job of that, by the way. Thank you.
Oh, we're all learning, right? We're all learning through all this the COVID, right? And
Yeah,
I think it's got its really advantages as well, with us, seeking new ways of reaching out to our students and providing them with tips and techniques still on a virtual way. Yeah, so it's
absolutely.
kind of
Yeah.
neat. Yeah. Now I have to buy another camera though, because I'd like to have a camera pointing into my palette so people can see my palette, you know?
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
Christine, my assistant, pointed that out the very first day I did my first workshop online. She said, you need to have your iPhone over your palette. And
Right.
that's been a big help because
Yeah.
all of the artists, if anybody's out there who's thinking of doing these online demonstrations, the
Mm-hmm.
artist, the audience really likes to see that option of watching the palette, how you mix your paints up. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's very important.
It's part of the process, right? And mixing is big time part of painting. Hi, Wendy.
Absolutely.
Wendy's just
I
Wendy's
know.
saying hi.
I waved earlier. I didn't want to touch my phone because it'll jiggle the image.
Oh, yeah. 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 Now, I have a few questions for you.
Oh no.
Very
I
good
feel
questions.
I fail exams with great ease, okay? So I hope they're not tough questions.
No, no, no. It's not an exam, Andrew. Well, for everybody who's online, they probably saw that we were at the Landscape Artist of the Year Canada, which
That's
was
right.
aired last February before COVID, but it was taped all of September, October last year.
Yep.
And for everybody who's online, Andrew, the main man here, he made it to the finals.
I
Yay!
thank
So
you.
how was that experience, Andrew? Tell me about it.
In one word,
It was
intense.
one
Intense. It was intense.
word. Okay.
Very intense. But if I give you a bit of a background on it, I was made aware of this competition, I think in early August of last year, and I was asked to put my name maybe the end of July, early August last year. So
Mm-hmm.
I just, as for fun, I just put my name in, and I
Yeah.
heard back. I heard back from them. So the interview was right here, and that painting was behind me. That's the piece I had
Oh,
submitted.
yeah, yeah,
That's a piece that's a tribute to Tom Thompson. That's a scene that he's painted at up in Algonquin Park. It's the Oxtongue River.
yeah. Mm.
So one thing led to another, and while I was away, I was actually in the Arctic on a painting expedition. I was artist in residence with Adventure Canada on their expedition ship.
Right.
The expedition was called Out of the Northwest Passage.
Okay.
Um, so I was actually in Greece Fjord, I think it was, and I didn't know I could get phone service up there. But one of the guys from Nunavut said, "Oh yeah, we get phone service up here if you're on Bell," and I was on Bell. So
Yeah.
I turned my phone on. I was worried about the data charges, but I was on Bell, and I saw an email from Christine that said, "Hey, you made it into the first round or something like that."
Yeah, you were selected.
I was selected. I was jumping up and down on the ship. Oh my goodness! So
The first cut.
exactly, I made the cut. And so when I
Yeah.
came back, I literally was in the studio here the very day after I landed, still jet lagged and everything. And I had 2 days. They wanted me to paint the day after I got back, but
Yeah.
my assistant,
Oh.
being the best assistant in the universe, said he's not painting the day after he gets off a plane. So they moved it to another day. So actually, I'm not even supposed to be telling you all of that. So
It's
it's
okay. I
confidential.
was in the show.
I hope this is not live.
No.
Okay. So I showed up in Coburg on the day that the thing was moved to.
Oh, it was so
I'm-
hot there.
It was very hot, but I had
So hot.
you know what?
From the Arctic.
So I come from the Arctic. I go to the heat, but then you know
That's right.
I'm from the equator, so I don't mind the heat, right? So
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Yeah. Yeah. You were really cool, even though it was super hot that time in Coburg. But you had this vibe, you know, that you were just, it's cool. It's gonna be done. I don't know if that was the episode that you was that the episode that you held the wood from the tree, or was that the finals
That was in the finals.
that you held? You
Yeah.
drew with that wood.
I
You
did
won
draw.
the
I picked
canvas.
up I did pick up some wood that had fallen off the trees that were around us in the
Yeah.
setting, and I used that to paint.
Right. No, that's excellent. It becomes one with your painting, right? I really like that.
Absolutely.
And you said something about the deer that
Yep.
you saw a deer as you were going up.
Yes. So I knew that I was going to be painting in a scene that was already set. They had chosen the scene that I'm going to
Yeah.
be painting. But I'm there with a few other very, very fine artists.
Yes.
So what am I going to do to bring my voice into this painting?
Right.
That I mean, you know how the pods are set up. They're side by side. We're seeing
Yeah.
the same scene.
Right.
I didn't plan this. So I'm in
Oh.
the van. I'm at the back at the window seat. And the van slowed down, and there was a group of people standing by the road, and a car had hit a deer.
Oh,
The
okay.
the deer was almost dying, but it looked
Oh.
up. It looked up, and I looked right into its eyes. And there was
Oh,
a gentleman there with a gun. He was obviously going to put the deer out of its pain.
right.
It was a mature deer. It was very big.
Oh,
And so the van went on, and I thought to myself, I was meant to see that. I was
yeah.
meant to bring that scene into what I was going to be painting
Right.
in the final. So I incorporated it. I also, as I mentioned earlier on, I do a little bit of writing. So I wrote some lines, and I don't even remember what it said. Something about we look what we do not always see.
Mm.
I looked and I saw it was meant to be, something like that. So
Yeah.
it was a very emotional day for me. Very emotional.
Oh, yeah. I know, and you're so connected with nature, and I know most of your pieces are driven by your love for our environment and our nature and the energy around us. So I'm sure it really struck you when you saw the deer look at you in the eye, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, thank you for sharing that. I don't want to cry.
I'm surprised I made it through without my Kleenex. Because I did have Kleenex with me that day, by the way. I did have Kleenex. I always carry a stash of Kleenex because, you know, if I'm surrounded by something that's profoundly true and honest and real, I
Yeah.
get very emotional. So there was a good chance, from what I remember, as a matter of fact, there were times when I was painting and I was in tears.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have seen that side of you, and I saw it at the CN Tower when we
Yeah.
were painting there. So I've seen that. So yeah, it's very cool to know that you there's that emotion right there in the heart. Yeah.
Well, Marissa, as artists, we bare our souls to the world, right? And
Right.
it's only it's only meaningful if we see the pain as well as the joy in the world. If we see the
Mhm.
ugliness as well as the beauty in the world, we can't just
Right.
focus on paint the pretty pictures. We have
Yes.
to. Our
We have
job, our job as the eyes of society is to be the mirror of what's going on around us.
right. That's right. So do you have, now that we've talked a little bit about your art, do you have anything there that you'd like to share with people who are watching right now, that anything you're working on? Art.
I do have some images here. I have some from Algonquin Park. There's a bit
Yeah.
of ice. There's a bit of ice from Algonquin Park.
Mm-hmm.
That
And when was that? When was that scene
I
taken?
I went up to Algonquin to paint in January. So this is
Oh,
around January 3rd or 4th.
yeah.
I had a blast up there. This is a very special part of Canada for me.
That is
Uh,
so cool. Was that like dusk? Because it looks like it's almost nighttime.
yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. Oh,
I also have, oh, by the way, I do an exercise for my workshops where uh, I don't know how many people know Robert Genn. He was one of Canada's finest landscape painters and a fine gentleman. He wrote a blog twice a week for Painter's Keys. That was his blog, Painter's Keys. His daughter Sarah again does it now, and he challenged people in his workshop to do a painting in 39 or less brushstrokes. And this piece was done. This was done in 39 brushstrokes.
39 brush strokes. Like
Yeah,
you're not lifting your brush off the canvas. That's still one stroke, right?
one brushstroke. Yeah. So you take the
Yeah.
brush, you apply
Leave it
it,
down.
leave it down, and then you pick it up, and that's one brushstroke.
Yeah. I
So
do that too, but I do 100 strokes.
I've done it 3 times now, all
Oh,
all within
wonderful.
39, all
Oh,
within
that's
39 brushstrokes.
39.
Uh,
Now you're
so
really challenging me.
here is one more from Algonquin Park.
Beautiful.
This was done on plein air and was finished
Ah,
in my studio in
yeah.
January. So I was painting on this lake in January, and it was dusk.
So do
And
you like to paint at dusk, or it just happened to be?
I had just arrived there at dusk, and I just
Oh,
rushed out to paint.
gee.
Oh, here's something called "No One Puts Vincent in the Corner."
Yeah, I saw
And
that.
this was first shown at TOEF.
Yeah,
It's the Art Gallery of Ontario.
right.
I was working on it, and
Yes,
there's a poster here on the left-hand side of Vincent van Gogh. His show
right,
was on at the AGO,
right.
and my assistant was working in the studio doing some admin things. She comes over and she says, "What did you say?" You said, "No one puts Vincent in the corner." And she saw the poster in the corner. She said, "No one puts Vincent in the corner." And I said, "That's the title of the painting. No one puts Vincent in the corner."
That's excellent. No, that's the thing with you, Andrew, right? So your landscapes are exquisite, right? They're like whoo, and then
Thank
I
you.
get a whole surge of all the group of seven, and of course your spirit, and then you go into a cityscape, which is like same magnitude. You have such a huge repertoire, if I may say, of art. So you do also portraits, you do figurative work, abstracts. Do you do abstracts, or this is all like almost all abstract,
Oh,
right?
have my
So
book.
it's like it's crazy.
I do some abstract work as well too. I have a book here that I put out I first started it about 5 years ago, because my staff from when I had Engine Room, my staff still do some work for me. A couple of the guys still do some work for me. And I reached out to Ryan and I said, Ryan, can you help me? He said, yeah, what would you like? So I put together this book.
Oh,
And
is that a book?
This is my book,
Oh,
and
nice.
it's quite. It has a fly page here, and then you go into an introduction. It actually goes through some of the work that I've done.
Oh my gosh.
Right, so there's a bit of background on me. There's Sable Island work here, and then we go into my tribute to Tom Thompson. I was in Haida Gwaii in 2016 with a bunch of artists from Reencounter.
Oh.
And then this was my Gross Morn series.
Oh yes, Rossmore. Yeah. Never been there.
But you have to go.
I have to go.
My icebergs are here.
And I have to go there too.
Find an iceberg. Find an iceberg. Then,
Oh, lovely. I've never seen one, so this is going to be a to-do list for me.
and I do icebergs in porcelain. So
Oh,
this is my fire and ice series, and then my figurative work.
oh, there's your figurative. Oh my God, everything is in that book.
Yep.
So if somebody wants to purchase that book, how do they get a hold of it?
The book is for sale. Towards the back, you'll see not because it's less important, but because this is very meaningful to me. I do some social commentary where I wrap my paintings in saran wrap because I'm too chicken to actually use a marker on my paintings. So I wrapped it in saran wrap, and I have words written there with big magic markers, like does everybody's truth have a best before date stamped on it? Then acquiescence is a triumph of belief over knowledge. Religion is afterlife insurance, and I hope I didn't offend all of the religious people out there. I did something for Nuit Blanche in 2012. We had projection on actors and live music, etc. I've done some installation work. This is a piece called Deep in the Belly of an Iceberg. It's a view of an iceberg from the inside.
Oh my gosh.
It's a large abstract piece. It's very popular with people.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the book. Thank you.
So how do they order that book?
Well, to answer your question, contact me through my website.
Yes.
The books are signed and dedicated to you. They're one of a kind. Well,
Yeah.
one of a kind of maybe 10 at a time or 15 at a time, because they get updated with new images. This one has, I think, 25 in the run, and I do charge $225 plus HST on it. So it comes up to be about $254.
Wow.
But they sell very well.
Oh gosh. And I know you have that too when you are at the artist project. You have that book, and it's a nice coffee table reading too, to see your art, right?
Yeah, it's been very well received. I mean, I as a designer as well too, I was able to art direct and design the piece.
Yes.
So that's I'm very proud of that book.
Wow. Does it have a title? What's the title? Is it
called
just
Parallel Journeys or something like that?
Oh, nice. Oh, wow. I'm
always doing different things. If I leave the canvas on the easel, I go to the table with my porcelain to do my sculpture, and I might sit down in the backyard in the forest and write a few lines here and there. So there's never a dull moment, you know.
No, you're always creating, I think, and it's just so you. It's innate. It's part of who you are. So aside, oops, my cat. So my cat's just running. So my cat, oh, that's another thing. Anyway, she got bitten because she goes outside, and she got bitten in the forest, and so we had to take her to the vet. So I was kind of scared not to be able to get to see you tonight, but she's doing okay. She's got a cone. So she doesn't scratch the wound.
Right, right.
Do you have cats?
I'm sorry to hear that. There were three up until a week and a half ago.
They,
The oldest one died
oh,
a week and a half ago, sadly. So it's
yeah.
pretty heavy around the house. And the youngest one died a year and a half ago.
Oh, yeah. And you know, they're really part of your life and they're part of your family. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
she's running around because she doesn't know what her cone is about. She can't see anything. It's like, oh, I'm claustrophobic. So Han, she went over there. Anyway, I'm back to you, Andrew.
Okay. Okay.
So now that we're talking about cats, um, if you're not creating art, what else do you enjoy doing aside from writing poetry?
Uh, hmm. What do I
Cooking.
do? What do I do?
What?
Um,
What? Yeah. I aside
they,
from art, not sculpture, nothing, no poetry. What would you
I
like to
do
do?
I do read. I've been
You
reading from a
read.
very young age. I've read some very interesting books. I've
And
read,
I saw that you're reading the book on Tom Thompson.
yep, Who Killed Tom Thompson, and it's by John Little, the son
Yeah,
of the gentleman,
I'm
one of the
writing
five,
that down.
one of the five men who, Bill Little, who dug up the grave that is in Canoe Lake, where they found the remains of somebody who had been buried there,
Yeah, there were
and
bones.
so there's a whole series of things in the book. I mean, here's the interesting thing about that gentleman's approach in writing the book. Prior to that, it had been artists, dentists, historians, etc., who've been writing, I should say, who have written those books. But
Right.
he decided that he wanted to get the guidance of two cold case detectives to help him.
Oh,
How refreshing is that? So
yeah.
John Little got these two guys to help him to examine the evidence, because everything flows from the evidence, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they have some very interesting, not so much conclusions, but suggestions of what might have happened, because no one knows. No one knows what, well, a few people do know, but the real story, I don't think, if it's in print, we don't know what the real story is.
Oh, yeah. Did you finish reading it or are you still reading it?
I'm in my fourth reading now.
Oh, because it is that captivating.
Well,
Wow. Have
the
to get that
story
book.
the story is, but the book is very well written as well too.
Yeah. You should write a book, Andrew.
I have started it. I have the title.
And what is it about?
The title is a little bit past success. Sorry, a little bit past White Bridge at Success. White Bridge
Ooh.
is the bridge on the island, the part of the island where I was born. I grew up. Success is the village next to the one that I was living in. So it's always one village removed from success. Uh, so I have to change that. I have to cross that white bridge into the area of success.
Wow. And when do you think you will be finished?
I have to start it first.
Oh,
Actually, I have started it. I have
it's
started.
in your head. It's like, congregating in there.
I do have quite a few chapters and excerpts written. I just have to stitch them together.
Oh, wow. Well, you'll need Christine there to to
She,
help you, I guess, with
absolutely.
managing the office.
Saved.
Yeah, she's got the section saved, so
Oh,
we'll put it all together.
yeah, yeah. So how do you enjoy competing as well? Like you competed in the Landscape Artist of the Year, and that was fun for you. It was a big giant experience, even for myself. It's a highlight of 2019 for me. Um, but then you competed as well in the art battle in the artist project. How was that? I
I
voted for you, by the way.
I I love it. I love competing. Look,
Yeah,
in my business, we had to win business from our clients.
yeah.
We had to pitch against agencies, large
Mm-hmm.
agencies. We were a small group. We went up against some of the best agencies in Canada for
Wow.
specific chunks of business, and we would win. I
Yeah.
I We lost, of course, in some cases, but we won our fair share, more than our fair share of business. So
Wow.
deadlines don't phase me.
Yeah,
Competition just brings out the best in me. I just love it.
yeah,
I live
yeah.
for it. And I don't care about winning or losing. I just love being a part of the competition.
Wow. And the one at the artist project, for everybody who's listening, it was so crazy because you're competing against, you know, five other artists, and it's all going and it's all timed 20 minutes. And at the first round, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then at the last part of it all, then I realized you were doing the portrait of Christine.
Yeah,
And
she was sitting off the stage at one side.
yeah, so because I was also taking video that time for SCA, and you were dancing like it's just, you know, a fun party.
It's the dance that one finds at the bottom of a glass of beer.
Yeah.
There's always a dance swimming around at the bottom of a glass of beer or a
Yeah.
glass of wine.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't think you were drinking yet that time. I don't know. I didn't see any
No,
wine.
I was.
Oh, were you?
Somebody from the crowd had seen me somewhere. I don't know if I was warming up or was doing something, and
Yeah.
he comes up behind me and he says, um, "I don't think I knew this guy." Anyway,
Oh,
my friends were there, and
yeah.
he may have been a friend of one of my friends. And he said, would you like a drink?" I said, "Would I?" And I grabbed the can of beer, which was not open at the time. So I opened it and I started drinking it.
Oh yeah.
I knew I had to go back to my booth, and I never drink when I'm working at the artist project. But
Oh,
I was caught up in the excitement of the art
oh
battle, and
yeah.
I had
I
that,
thought
and then my friends brought me wine. So I
you were
found two
happy.
dances. I found two dances that night.
It's all over the SCA Facebook page. So I have to give that link to Christine so she can put it in your archives.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
going like this right now.
Oh, that's so much fun. Um, so I have a question for you, and it's for artists who either are just coming out or becoming artists, or just, you know, aspiring artists. Do you recommend that they get into a gallery, like
That's
for
a very good
aspiring?
question. That's a very good
Yeah.
question. Let's examine the function of a gallery. It is
Right.
to help promote the artist. So from the point of view of every artist who is out there doing substantial work,
Yeah,
we need to promote our work.
of course.
However, you did mention that this is an artist who's starting out in their career.
Starting out.
I would recommend that they focus on their work, to get the work first. Do the work first. Let your style find you. Then you will find galleries approaching you.
Right.
If you approach a gallery before you've settled on what your voice is,
Right.
you may change your style, and the gallery may have chosen you because your style at the moment
Was
matched
this
matched what they're showing in their gallery. So I would
right?
recommend for the new artist to focus on their product first.
Mm-hmm.
Get that right, or as right as you can, and
Mm-hmm.
then you can start. You shouldn't be promoting something that you're not happy with. So if
Right.
you're happy with the work, then start promoting it,
Yeah.
uh, because you can't undo what's in the public domain. And if you do a
Mm-hmm.
piece of work that you're not happy with, it'll stay out there. So
Right.
focus
Right.
on that. Now, if you were further along in your career path and you're getting closer to being established, then you can
Mm-hmm.
send out forms to galleries. They don't recommend you walk in with a portfolio in your arm and say, "Here I am, look at me, how great I am."
Here's my
Send,
paintings. I have them
send.
in the car.
There are some bold folks out there who do that, and they can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
I would send a package with a covering letter introducing yourself.
Right.
Get somebody to
Yeah.
the information as well too,
Yeah.
and don't write it as if you're talking about yourself. Write it
Right.
as if you're talking about somebody else. So,
Yeah.
for instance, I would say Andrew Sookrah is a very fine artist who has been working now for some time. His background is varied. His work that he produces is pulled from his varied experiences, etc., etc. As opposed to
Mm-hmm.
saying, "I am so and
I
so.
am.
I do this and I do that."
Right. Yeah, yeah, that's so valuable because as same as you, I do teach a lot of aspiring artists, and this question comes about to me many times, and so I do say as well, you have to maybe join shows, get out there in the public, show your work until you find a good body of work that represents you. Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
such valuable information. Um, and then in line of that, in connection to that, should they have their website? Should they make a website? Or should it just be
Absolutely.
social media?
Absolutely. Everything, this is a very key point.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we do and we say, everything that we are in our presence is our
Right,
brand.
right.
Your painting is not your only aspect of your brand. It is a big part of your brand, but everything
Mm-hmm.
that we do, the painting is the core of the essence of your brand.
Right.
However, that essence is shared by your website, your resume, the way you carry yourself, your fashion,
Mm-hmm.
everything. So be
Mm-hmm.
mindful of that. The answer is yes, we should have a website. It should be done with some degree of professionalism
Mm-hmm.
because it's representing you. When someone
You.
comes to your site, it's representing you. And
Right.
let's think of the impression that we're leaving with our potential buyer or a curator or a
Mm-hmm.
collector. If it's one that is not appealing or positive, that person may say, I'm not sure I want to be
Not
associated with this
sure.
artist. So make it a positive experience for the viewers. Um, there is something called user experience when you come to the website. Don't make people search for things. There are some very prominent organizations that that little fact is lost on them. If you have
Yeah.
people clicking 5 times to get to something they came to your site for,
Right.
they're leaving with a bad impression. 2 clicks, 2 clicks
Yeah.
to get to where you need to
To
go.
get to where they need to go. Very easy. User friendly.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's your I guess that's your design and marketing hat that you're wearing there, and you're giving out as an advice there.
Well,
So
partly true, but I have always before I had my company, I think I ended up with my company because of that line of thinking. I
yeah.
wanted to make sure that I was, even as a freelancer, before I had my company, I wanted to make sure that the experience was good for my client as well as for me. I
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of word of mouth promotion for my business when I was a single freelancer because
Mm-hmm.
people worked with me and I wanted to make sure that when they left the project, they didn't
Right.
just leave with the product in hand. They left with a good experience, uh,
Yeah.
a good memory. So,
Very
uh,
nice.
so yeah, it's not just my marketing hat; it's just my hat.
Yeah. Your hat. Wonderful. Oh, so we have about, 5 minutes left, but I wanted to touch up on your experience as artist in residence of the Adventure Canada. How did you go about that? How does someone apply to be an artist in residence? So there's two questions there.
Right. So I got into it because somebody saw my work and they recommended to Adventure Canada they recommended I contact Adventure Canada, but they'd
Oh,
already contacted Adventure Canada at that point as well too. So they, I think there's a department. If you call their, and from there I was asked to be on these. I've been on 2 trips with them.
wow.
They're an incredible company actually. It's a family-owned business. The the product that they offer is unique. It's intense as well too. I love that word. It's you go to some pretty extreme places.
Right.
So if you are thinking of an extreme adventure, it's a very well controlled adventure that you get exposed to some pretty inspiring scenery as well as cultures, etc. Where you go to the Arctic or you go to Scotland, any of those places, they will make sure that your experience is one that's very positive and informative. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
somebody's thinking of applying, be aware that the company gets a lot of applications. Assess the
Right.
quality of your work. Assess
Right.
what you will be able to give to them if you're going
Mm-hmm.
to be on the trip. if you are
Right.
accepted, first of all, and you are going to be in a very competitive environment to try and apply for one of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is canceled for this year, by the way. It'll be next year
Right.
and so on. And everybody
Mm-hmm.
who was earmarked to go on a trip with them this year, they have been moved forward to next year. So uh, make sure that your application, when you do send one in to them, go to their website. And you might find something there that says, if you'd like to apply for this, this is what you need to do. Make sure you have all the information, much like submitting a resume to somebody. Make sure that the resume
Yeah.
leaves the viewer with the impression that they have to get in touch with you. So
Mm-hmm.
if that's the case, then you'll be able to take it from there.
Wow. Excellent. Was that a highlight of, was that 2018? When did you go, Andrew?
My first one was in 2017. I went to
Okay.
Sable Island, and then
Yes.
last September I went to the Arctic with them.
Oh, yeah, because you talked about it during our holiday party in the
Yep,
SCA.
yep,
Yeah, and the pictures that you came from, like the pictures that you took and the paintings that you produced from that trip
yep.
was so profound, like super you got the scale of the beauty of the Arctic.
The, thank you. The beauty and the
Oh,
intense
and the,
realities of the people who live there, the
yeah,
intense extreme reality of the people who live there. And I've talked to the guys, the hunters, the
yeah,
gatherers, these
yeah,
guys who and it, male or female, these people, they share duties, they share what has to be done up there.
right.
They're talking about their realities. The ice flow is disappearing. Climate change
Yeah.
is very real for those guys. It's not a
Hmm.
conspiracy theory for those guys.
And it's
They're
not a
they're
myth.
they're
It's
living it.
real.
They are
Yeah.
living it. So uh,
That
that's
global warming is real.
that's something that is we need to be mindful of. And I know we don't have a lot of time left, but if I could just say a quick shout out to Molly Stroyman and Victoria Coiler at the lodge on Amherst Island. These guys are incredible. I've known them for about 20 years now. I've been going to Amherst Island to paint, teach,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Molly Stroyman at the lodge, she's the
Right.
owner. She has helped me to have solo shows on the island. That the shows that I've held at the lodge have sold more work for me in the
Wow.
time that I've been showing than any
Wow.
other gallery anywhere. And she's very supportive of all the arts. Musicians, writers, painters go to the lodge to do workshops, to work with writers, musicians, etc. So I just came back from there last week. I was
Yeah. Yeah.
very fortunate to go. It's not open. It's not open yet, but it's going to be open again in 2 weeks. Go to
Right.
their website if you need a spot. If you want to do a
Yeah.
workshop there, they're taking bookings for next year for that, for workshops. Uh,
Yes.
and also, if you wanted to go and get some peace and tranquility and find inspiration, the Lodge on Amherst Island is a place to find it.
Oh, we'll do that. Well, on that note, I just want to thank you, Andrew, again.
Thank you,
Our
Marissa.
time has run so quickly,
I know.
and
Just 30 seconds ago, I sat down with you in this chair.
yeah, and I know I don't know when we're gonna see each other live in person. Things are canceled right now with shows, and
I
but
know.
but
I know.
I'm just so fortunate I get to see you either online or now in a chat. I
Yeah, I
just
know.
want to thank you for being my my buddy tonight, and
Thank
we
you. It's
chatted.
great. It's great to see you. Thank you for doing this. And you might, if you see a guy, some beige flash in a forest somewhere in a mask, that's me that you bump into somewhere up in Algonquin Park somewhere. That'll be me. So,
Okay. Well, you
alrighty.
take care, Andrew. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We'll see you. Check out Andrew's feed
Oh,
on Instagram and
Corey Trapani,
Facebook.
Corey Trapani just joined. Oh my God, Corey, buddy,
Oh,
how are you?
hi, Corey.
Corey is the true Arctic painter. This guy is
Oh,
painted in zero, many degrees zero, below zero in the Arctic. He is a fabulous painter. Check him out.
oh. Check him out.
Corey
Check out Corey Trepanier.
Trapanier.
Tepranier. That is
Yeah.
my really, really bad French. But
All right.
um,
Take care.
thank you, everyone. Good night.
Take care. Bye.
Mwah. Bye, Andrew. Thank
Take care.
you. Bye.